We will get underway. We thank you for coming tonight, and especially of those of you who don't have something on the agenda, we thank you for your attendance. And we will stand for an invocation and followed by the pledge. Father, we thank you for a beautiful day, and as the storms roll in the evening, and then we have a beautiful day after this, we're reminded of your power and over creation and your perfect plan. We thank you for this town and what it means to us, and we pray that we will manage it well and for your glory. Please pray that you will protect our servicemen and women, our first responders, those who are in law enforcement at the local and state and federal levels, that you will protect them, and may the situation in Europe be resolved soon, and that there will be a peace beyond all understanding, only could be attributed to you. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our first public comment period is for matters that do not appear on the agenda. If you have a comment on something that you'd like to bring to us, we welcome you to do so at this time. You have 3 minutes to do so. If you could fill out a form for our clerk and state your name and address. Hearing none, before we approve the agenda, I think Councilwoman Howard has something she'd like to read. So I will turn the floor over to her.
This is a proclamation. Confederate History and Heritage Month is April, whereas April is a month in which the Confederate States of America began a 4-year struggle for independence, states' rights, individual freedom, and local government control, and whereas on April 25th, Confederate Memorial Day, Georgians wish to honor the brave men and women of all ethnic backgrounds who served the Confederate States of America. Whereas Georgia has long cherished its Confederate history and heritage. Whereas Georgians wish to honor their great leaders who made many sacrifices on behalf of the Confederate cause. And whereas it is indeed fitting to encourage all Georgians to learn more about our state's history and to honor those who devoted their lives to the cause. And now, therefore, I, Council Member Linda Howard, I proclaim the month of April 2022 as Confederate History Month and Heritage. So commemorate the state holiday of April 25th as Confederate Memorial Day. So proclaimed, and this is actually the seventh day of April 2022.
Thank you, ma'am. Herb, before we move on to the agenda.
Thank you all very much. I'm Freddie Jones. I'm a member of the Sons of Confederate Veterans in Fayetteville, and wonderful that this proclamation is given to us each year by the Tyrone Town Council. Tell you this, if you ever have occasion to come to one of our meetings, we meet the third Thursday of every month at the Fayette County Historical Society building. You don't have to be invited. You just come visit. It starts at 7 o'clock. We'd love to have you. I would also say that we're celebrating Confederate Memorial. Our Confederate Memorial service will be on April the 26th at 7 o'clock at the gazebo, which is catty-cornered to the old Fayette County Courthouse, and we'd love to have you there as well. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we'll now call on the American Legion Post 105 representatives to come forward. I think they have something they'd like to share with us.
Council. Before we begin, I want to point out there's been a slight mistake on the reading. Our guests tonight are actually from Post 50 in Peachtree City. The reason for the mistake is Lieutenant Nelson is actually being honored by both posts. So there's a little mix-up there, but these gentlemen are from Post 50, and I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Mark Weaver. Sir, step right on.
Thank you, Mr. Weaver.
Thank you for giving us this chance to recognize your Law Enforcement Officer of the Year. We realize that your staff went to great lengths to narrow this down to one person. And I'd like to recognize Lieutenant Philip Nelson and his wife Clarissa, because they are a team that puts him on the street and working for you all the time. I represent Post 50 in Peachtree City, but I believe Officer Phil is from Fayetteville. So American Legion posts from around would always like to take the opportunity to honor a uniformed person who's still in the line of duty. We have a plaque, and Ms. Clarissa's here to pick up the check. So please, just to do a quick grip and grin, and then we'll let you carry on with your civic business.
Fantastic. I didn't realize we had another friend. I missed that one.
On behalf of all your civic outreach and all the citizens of the
Thank you.
Money, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Good job, Philip, well deserved.
Chief, are you sure you ran a background check on him? All right, we have two public hearings tonight, and we're going to get the first one started off regarding 163 Palmetto Road, and I will ask Philip to begin this presentation.
Public hearing item before you tonight is to consider a variance request from applicant Douglas Pollard for 163 Palmetto Road. A little bit of a summary and history on the item. Mr. Pollard did submit a similar looking variance request as a condition of a rezoning back in a few months ago, or I think it was last year actually. And the nature of the variance was, and will continue to kind of be for these purposes, a 27.5-foot variance starting at the northeast corner of Building 1 running south, which is these accessory buildings here, to the southeast corner of Building 1, and a 20-foot variance starting at the northeast corner of Building 2 running south parallel with the property line to the southeast corner of Building 2. So to visualize that, this is the variance that's requested. There's previously a 30-foot setback on the property, and the variance will just bring that property line around those two accessory buildings for the purposes of not having Mr. Pollard tear those buildings down. The reason this is before you a second time is because the first time was for a rezoning, not parceling this property off on its 1-acre tract. It was just a rezoning of the property from AR to R12. And so the rezoning needed, or the variance needed to be contingent upon that and vice versa. He is now requesting that that R12 property with the variance on it be subdivided into a 1-acre tract, with the remainder of this tract being combined with his current home parcel. And so a similar variance will need to be granted because variances do not run with the land. If the property is changed in a legal fashion in any way, that variance would need to either be applied for again or changed in some manner. Staff does propose and recommend that the variance be granted in this manner as opposed to granting a full setback variance of just one type along the rear property line. It would have to be a 28-foot variance on the back property line. This allows Mr. Pollard to keep the buildings but doesn't otherwise give him additional benefits or rights that others, that would put him above others in a similar situation. Planning Commission did recommend denial of this variance request, similar to their recommendation of denial for the rezoning. Their reasons were that they did not think that the situation had changed any since their original denial with that rezoning. The property it does have a preliminary plat in place for this property to be parceled off, the 1 acre portion. Once and if the variance is granted, that preliminary plat will become a final plat and will get recorded with the property line reflected to show the variance. You've seen my impact assessment and zoning ordinance compatibility portion of the staff report. If you have any questions on that, feel free to ask me. I believe Mr. Pollard is here tonight.
Okay. Are there any questions for Philip? All right, is there anyone here that would like to speak in support of this request? Hearing none, is there anyone here that would like to speak in opposition to this request? Okay. Believe we are at a point where we can entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the setback variance request for parcel 0738053 at property address 163 Palmetto Road.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we have a second public hearing item regarding section 113 through 134 of our architectural design considerations, and we'll give that to Philip also.
All right. So we had a workshop meeting on one of which will be, we will have many, smiles, everybody, on the zoning ordinance and making changes. And this was in regards to the Town Center Overlay District. This is because there was a lot in that workshop meeting and there were a lot of proposed changes and amendments. What I've done here is I've done a phase 1 revision of these changes. And this phase 1 just really hits on the things that were kind of what I understood to be a unanimous agreement about making changes from both Planning Commission and from council from your comments. So this is that phase 1 change. Staff does recommend approval of these changes to the Town Center District, and Planning Commission also recommended unanimous approval. You let me know how you want me to go through this, if you'd like me to go through this line by line, or if you just want me to answer any questions that you have in particular as we're going through.
Have any specific things? The only thing I want that I see right now, scroll back up, please.
Yep.
Is to change, correct the spelling of preferred
Okay, yep.
on C1A.
Oh, yep, there are not 2 E's there. Look, it's even got a red squiggle under it.
You're just smarter than the red squiggles.
That's apparently what I was saying, yeah.
You're conditioned to ignore them.
The major highlights were just changing the name of the overlay district from architectural design considerations to a more general town center overlay. We did change some facade and building requirements, and then the other major change was in regards to C1 setbacks. That's all the way at the bottom here, but for any property that's a downtown commercial property in the town center district, we've amended and changed the setback requirements.
Okay. All right, does anybody have any questions about this, or want to hash it out a little bit more? Is everybody fine?
I think we went over these last time, one by one.
These are not all of them. We'll have another workshop meeting just outlining phase two and another amendment to the ordinance. But these were some of the big highlights, the changes that I heard from council and planning commission that y'all wanted to make.
Okay. Are there any questions for Philip before we move to a public hearing? All right. Is there anyone here that would like to speak in support of the changes to the architectural design standards? Is there anyone here that would like to speak in opposition? Favor? All right. Well, just,
Take me, I didn't fill out again, I'm sorry.
yes, yes, sorry about that.
I'm Edgar Townsend on the building that burnt down, and I think my footprint pretty much fits what Philip is bringing forth, and I think it has worked in the past. We've been there for a while, and, you know, we get walking customers from Circa back and forth, and we're gonna have a soon new neighbor at the end of the cul-de-sac, and I think it works, and I like to see the slower traffic through town anyway. Now, Phyllis, I can give it to you later?
Sure.
Okay,
Give it to Ms. Baker.
all right.
On behalf of the whole town, I know you and I have spoken on the phone, but on behalf of the whole town, we offer you our condolences for the building, and we encourage you in what will certainly be some
Appreciate this.
rough labor in the coming months, right?
Yeah, has been already, but, and I appreciate that, but
Yes,
yeah, it wasn't in my plan, I'll put it that way.
right, right. Okay, is there anyone else that wants to speak in support? Is there anyone that would like to speak in opposition to these changes? Questions, council? Is there a motion, council?
I'll make a motion that we approve the staff-initiated text amendment of Section 113-134 Town Center Architectural Design Considerations. Is that good enough?
Good to me.
I second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Thank you, Mr. Townsend.
Thank you.
Brandon, we have next item of business, old business is for you.
Thank you, sir. The next item is a consideration and approval of the conveyance of a 1.734 acre tract of land from KH Peachtree LLLP to the town via quitclaim deed. In your packet is a memo that I prepared. You also got a copy of there's a map of the property. You'll all probably remember back in 2018, Peachtree City annexed the property just south of the property in question, where you see Cottonwood Drive or Cottonwood Circle there. They annexed that property in to be part of the Crestwind community. A condition of that annexation was that the developer of Crestwind provide the town or the Shamrock Industrial an easement so that a emergency egress point could be cut in, and that we could cross over their property, their HOA common property. They did provide that easement on the property in question, and then there was a strip of land that's outlined here in blue, which is the property we're talking about tonight, that belonged at the time to, I believe, Mr. Scarborough. Well, sometime shortly after the annexation, this KH Peachtree purchased that strip of land. Don't know what the purpose of the purchase was, but they purchased the land, and it essentially blocked, they did provide the easement on the property that was annexed, but it essentially, would have required the town or the Shamrock Industrial Park business owners to purchase that piece of land if they wanted to cut an easement through to make the emergency egress actually happen. So there was not a lot of movement towards making the easement happen over the last few years. There's been discussion, but no movement. On March 22nd, I was reviewing the GIS system as part of preparation for another meeting in the area, and I just happened to click on that piece of land, and I noticed that it, according to the GIS, now belongs to the town of Tyrone as of June 2021. We never received any documentation. We never received no outreach, anything. So I went to the deed records and pulled the deed or the quitclaim, which I've provided to you. And then I reached out to Mr. Davenport and asked him to review everything. And he got back to me and said that everything is legit. So we have not been able to talk to KH Peachtree. I don't know what their motive was. I don't know if as part of the annexation, they believed that this was part of that. They had to purchase the land and then convey it to the town. Or if they had purchased the land, realized that it's really not buildable, they're paying taxes on it, and they decided, well, since it's, was originally supposed to be part of this easement or the egress, maybe they just decided to turn it over to them. Again, haven't been able to get in touch with them. But what you're being asked tonight is to make this official, to adopt the conveyance. And I want to make clear that, this doesn't, I don't want anybody to think that this, we're going to accept this conveyance and then tomorrow we're going to start cutting a road in. People need to understand that there's a lot that has to be considered before we move forward, but this is just a step closer to a potential emergency egress from that area.
Okay. Thank you, sir. All right, are there any questions about this matter?
Is there a path on this?
No, ma'am, right now, it's just woods. And as you can see, it's really long and narrow. It's 1.7 acres, but it's about 55, 60 feet across at its widest. And then I forget the length, but it's really not, it's really just a little strip that goes in between two businesses. And it really, the layout of it really lends itself to exactly what we have considered, which is a path, essentially a one-lane emergency egress.
Okay. Any other questions? We will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the conveyance of a 1.734 acre tract of land from KH Peachtree LLP to the town via quitclaim deed.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Next item is our ARPA issue. Ms. Sandy?
Evening.
Good evening.
I'm going to remind you, this item, we kind of somewhat talked about in a workshop on September 2nd, 2021, when we were discussing what the ARPA money could be used for. ARPA is, just to refresh your memory, stands for American Rescue Plan Act that was done by the federal government. Basically, I'm here to talk to you tonight about the reporting the expenditure. It's due on April 30th to the U.S. Treasury. What we would like to do and what I would like you to vote on tonight is that we, on April 30th or prior to that, elect that we are going to spend the revenue funds on what we, the ARPA money on revenue loss. Basically, you have up to $10 million that you can spend, or you can use for revenue loss as a standard deduction. We are not getting $10 million. We're getting $2,803,013 in money. So I just, in order for us to report it to the government by the deadline, I need to make sure that it's okay with you that we elect the revenue loss.
Okay. Understand what that means?
Not really.
So basically, you can take up to $10 million and designate it as revenue loss, and then you can use that funding for government services.
Yeah, sorry.
So basically, what that'll allow you to do between now and the end of 2024, you have to have the money allocated, but not spent. So between now and the end of 2024, you have $2.8 million to use for government services. That can be economic development, that can be infrastructure, stormwater, sewer, that can be anything, but you can't pay people with it. Well, you can do like, I don't want to call it they call it a bonus, but it's not a bonus. But anyway.
Premium pay, I think is what they
Premium
call
pay,
it.
you can't pay retirement out of it, but other government services are operation funds. You can put it back in for that. So it's the most flexible use of the funding. So this isn't, tonight, all we're asking you to do is letting us designate it as revenue loss, and then subsequent to this, we will come back to you and allocate the money to specific line items and functions.
So this is just one step in the process of utilizing the ARPA funds.
Right.
And we have to tell the U.S. Treasury, it's not that we couldn't change it later, but we have to label something by April 30th.
Okay.
It's the first
Well,
step.
then, let's label it. Are there any other questions? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the revenue loss option in reporting the ARPA funding to the U.S. Treasury. Is that
Motion?
I'll second.
We have a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Whoop, did I hear something? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, Brandon?
Yes, sir. The next thing on the agenda, sir, is the consideration to approve providing the Tyrone Downtown Development Authority with seed funding in the amount of $49,250 for the 2022-2023 fiscal year. I left fiscal year out of that. So for several years now, we have held $50,000 in the Sanitation Enterprise Fund. It's been in there since we stopped servicing sanitation ourselves. We stopped billing, we stopped customer service. It's been several years, but we held that funding in there as a, padding just in case we had an issue with sanitation of some sort and we needed funding. It's been in there long enough that our auditors are telling us, okay, it's time to put that money back in general fund and do something else with it. And so now that we've got our DDA up and running, I thought it would be appropriate to explore the option of transferring that money to the DDA that they can use for events, advertising, marketing the town. They could even use it for, whatever the legal purposes the DDA can do. They can, anything, within their service area of downtown. The reason I'm not asking for the full amount, you'll remember we all did training. That was $750. So what I'm asking for is $49,250, which is the $50,000 minus the $750 for training that the town already covered. So what'll happen is if you approve this tonight, next week at the DDA meeting, we'll ask them to officially adopt the transfer. And we're gonna use, again, if it's approved, a couple of $1,000s between now and the end of this fiscal year for programming. We wanna do a couple of events downtown. And then there will be an official budget adopted for the next fiscal year by the DDA that'll use the remainder of the funds.
Questions? Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve providing the Tyrone Downtown Development Authority with seed funding in the amount of $49,250 for the 2022-2023 fiscal year from the Sanitation Enterprise Fund. Thank you.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Got a second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And now the next item, James Morgan Company.
Yes. This relates to what you just said, or what you just approved. We would like, in this motion, gosh, I can't talk tonight. Sorry. We would like to hire a consulting firm called James Moore and Company, PL, to actually do the reporting with the U.S. Treasury. They will ask for information from the Finance Department here. We'll give them information. But they will actually be doing the reporting for us, and they will also gather information together that needs to go to our auditors, because anytime you get $750,000 or more from the federal government on a grant, you have to do what they call a single audit, which is actually a separate audit from the normal audit that's done. So we'll have two different audits going on. And they will help us prepare all that information for the for the auditors, so that they can audit all that information. And it takes a lot of time, and since we're such a limited staff, we were asking that you approve this. What they're doing is they're doing this type of work for a lot of different NEUs, small towns, or small municipalities. So basically for $6,900, they will do all this work for us for the next few years as we finish up this grant money.
That is funded through ARPA.
Correct. It is funded through ARPA, and it, on here in your book, it says pending the approval of legal, and legal counsel has approved it now as far as the engagement letter.
Thank you. Are there any questions about this? The only question I have is that we have to assist in having an authorized user to prepare reports through the portal.
Yes.
It won't defeat the purpose, and then you're having to do a lot of work there as the representative of the portal, will it?
No, they will, if we give them access, we'll still have access to get on and make sure that they're doing it properly for us.
Okay.
And they don't intend to wait till the last minute. You know, they're going to do it with enough time that we'll have time to change it if they get it done wrong. They know what they're doing, they're CPAs, I don't have any problem.
Yeah. I assume it just means that we have to be the official
We have to be the officials, yes.
person on the portal.
Right, and we are. We have an account set up on the portal. Essentially what that's saying is I'll go in there and I've already designated Sandy as a, I forget the
Reporting
reporting party.
yeah.
I'll create essentially a user account for them under our account in the portal so that they can log in and do what they have to do in the portal for us.
And the portal does allow to have multiple people get in and do things, so we'll still have control of it as well.
I'm fine with it. Any other questions?
And you said our attorney has already agreed.
So this is a legit company, James R. Moore.
Wasn't the question,
But it's
Most-
another question.
but most likely it is, yes.
We feel confident with it.
Making sure.
Most non-attorney answer I've heard from you. All
Just
right.
want to make sure it's legit.
Okay. Any other questions? Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion that we approve engaging James Moore and Company for consulting services related to CSLF RF for the $6,900.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, this second public comment period is for matters that do or do not appear on the agenda. If you'd like to speak at this time, we welcome you to do so. Be 3 minutes, just as earlier. Anyone like to speak? You just, if you come forward, you can fill that out after or during or before, either one, as long as our clerk gets it.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. How's everyone else doing tonight?
Good.
Well, this is really my first time here. My name is Jane Williams, everyone, and I am running for office. So is this appropriate?
Well,
Is that a comment?
I won't say anything if you don't say anything. How about that?
Nobody will ever know airtime.
Anywho, I just wanted to come tonight to introduce myself to you all. I am running for State Representative District 68. It used to be 64. And so I just wanted to come to introduce myself. I have learned a lot here tonight about how y'all conduct, the business and stuff. And then sometimes you can go to some of the other meetings and there's a lot going on. You can't really grasp what's happening. But you all have explained it quite well, enough for me to like, okay, I can get with that. So I just wanted to introduce myself to you all tonight, and it's so good to be here. Y'all have a lovely facility.
Well, thank you for doing that. We
Yes.
appreciate you coming to see us.
Absolutely, it won't be my last time either.
All
So
right.
I just did.
Good. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, we'll talk about that later. Yeah, I can't discuss races, but we'll do that afterward. All right.
You can ask me any question you want after
Yeah.
this.
Are there any other public comments? Anyone else want to speak? Anybody else want to announce a candidacy?
She said yes. She said yes.
You come on forward, ma'am. Hello.
Thank you for welcoming me. I didn't know if it was appropriate, so. Well, my name is Dr. Miriam Guathney, and I'm running for student board for District 4. So I've been living here for about 14 years. I'm sorry, I've been kind of hiding in my little hole. But I've been a physician. I'm a physician with family practice. And I work in Fayetteville at Kaiser Permanente, so that's pretty much what I've been doing. So you probably know my children, Andrea and Christopher Wiese. So probably they know Christopher.
Oh.
He has autism, so he runs away often. So I just appreciate the community for thinking about him. So I just wanted to give my services for that.
And say your last name again?
Guathney,
Okay.
Gwathney.
Okay.
I live in 134 Village Green Circle in Southampton.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else? Okay, hearing none, are there any staff comments?
Want to talk about tomorrow night?
Yeah. So the comprehensive plan, we're kind of in the, we're wrapping up the public engagement element of the comprehensive plan. Tomorrow evening is going to be our kind of in-person public engagement event. It's field day on the green type event, so we're going to have, kind of field day games, cornhole, ladder toss, can jam. A lot of millennials know what that is. But we'll have a lot of games, and we'll also have the Atlanta Regional Commission and myself out at a booth. There'll be a DIY town budgeting where you'll be given a certain amount of money, and you'll put your dollars where you want certain things, you want to see certain things in the town. So it's a little fun way to be able to kind of express your preference for future planning needs for the town. We'll also have like some visual preference boards, and I believe we're going to have a Kona ice truck as well. So that'll be our public engagement event. It'll be right before Action Wrestling, so you can do that and then head right over to Action Wrestling at the Recreation Center. So that's what we're doing. We have a tremendously huge response on the online survey. So we have close to 350 responses on the survey. And based on my knowledge of online response rates, that's not just as a proportion of our size, is that a large response, but that's, I think, a record response for any city in the metro area. And it's a good statistical sample of getting people's feedback. So we're really happy about that. We did that mailer, and we got another 150 or more people to respond to the survey, so it went really well. If council has any questions about the comp plan process thus far or the survey, I'm happy to answer those questions. Where we go from here is we wrap up our public engagement, we consolidate all those comments, we update some items in the comp plan, and we have a steering committee meeting with our steering committee, our 15-member steering committee, and then we come before you 2 times, actually 3 times, with the comp plan, and I'll be informally kind of sending you drafts as we create them for council comment and planning commission comment as we go along. So we're really in the assembly portion of after tomorrow, at the assembly portion of the comp plan, and we'll have it all wrapped up by June. And that will be our guiding document for the next 5 years. So we're happy to get it off of our plate and have it wrapped up. So, yeah.
What are the hours of that tomorrow?
5 to 7, and I believe action wrestling starts at
7:30.
Yeah, 7:30. Yeah, and we'll probably be there a little bit after 7 if people are talking to us.
I like that DIY town budgeting.
Yes, it's good. Yeah,
It'd be a requirement to vote, right? So-
I would think so. Yeah, it's a good
All
way to
right.
get input.
Any other staff comments? Any council comments? Okay. Hearing none, is there a need for executive session, sir?
I don't believe so, Mr. Mayor.
There is no need for executive session. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We stand adjourned.